Hello YouTube, this is Brownell's Tech Tips. In this video I'm going to show you how to configure and do the initial setup of Linux Mint 18, and most of my following videos after I do the install videos for the other versions of Linux Mint, which there's only other one. I think it's the Mate desktop. I will continue using this one for a lot of my examples and everything else, how to tweak and maintain and blah blah blah. So the first thing we need to do is look at updates. There's a couple of different ways to do this. You have this little shield down here which gives you a graphical representation for the updates. When you first bring it up for the very first time, you have "Don't break my computer." So recommended for novice users. It only selects updates which are known to be safe or which do not impact critical parts of the operating system. Do not show me updates which can harm the stability of my system. You have optimized stability and security, recommended for most users. Only select updates which are known to be safe or which do not impact critical parts of the operating system, but also show me security and kernel updates. And then you have always update everything, recommended for experienced users. Select all available updates. Keep my computer fully up to date. If a regression breaks something, I'll fix it. Generally, you're going to want to go with the optimized stability and security. If you're new to Linux completely, for the love of God, select "Don't break my computer." You're not going to get kernel updates and other things that are going to F your system. If you do kernel updates and stuff and you do not know what you're doing and how to force it to roll to a different kernel using the bootloader or something like that, you're going to be in serious trouble. So if you are brand new to Linux and you're just getting started, select "Don't break my computer." You have been forewarned. It is going to happen. You're going to break it if you use any of these others. Now, after saying that, I always go with optimized, or at times I'll go with always update everything. Most of the time I go with optimized stability and security because it will update all security components most of the time, not always. And I will get most of the major updates. If I do always update everything, it stays up to date all the time. But trust me, you are going to be doing a lot of work on updates, fixing shit that broke. So optimized stability and security is a fair in-between for the two. So once you select the one you're going for, click OK. And now you have the option to install updates. Using the GUI to do the updates is a nice way to do it. And you see right here we have a Mint update. It says, do you want to switch to a local mirror? The local mirrors are usually faster than packages.linuxmint.com, so we're going to click OK. Now it's going to ask for the password. You put in your password, and now we're going to change the mirrors. The way to change the mirrors, super simple. If you just click on it, it's going to automatically go through and start selecting the one that's the fastest. So right at the moment, this one here is the fastest. So we're going to go with that one. Click apply. Now we're going to go to base. Let it poll and determine what the fastest one is. Oh, looky there, 4.5 megasecond. So we're going to go ahead and click apply. Then you have optional components. Unstable packages can introduce regression and negatively impact your system. Please do not enable these options in Linux Mint unless it was suggested by the development team. I would highly recommend you do not select this. You can also enable source code repositories. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to compile the source code or force compile an installation, do not select this option either. Now that we have that set, we're going to hit update the cache. And now it's updated. So now you have the PPAs. I don't use any. You have additional repositories, which is basically the CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. I almost never select that. Rarely ever do I even apply the stupid thing back to the system. You have authentication keys, which you do have to add keys in for certain RPMs and different things from time to time. And then of course you have the maintenance, which you can fix merge list problems, purge residual configurations, remove foreign packages, and downgrade foreign packages. So now that that's done, we're going to go back and we're going to hit refresh. So now it's going to refresh the updates. Sometimes you may or may not see more pop up on there. Click install. The following package will be installed. That is absolutely fine. Click OK. If you ever get that, you're going to want to click OK. It's going to come up asking for your password. Trust me, that is a security feature you do want, because that keeps it from just automatically installing anything. Now that that update is installed, here's a whole list of more updates. Since I just showed you how to do that one, we're going to back out of this. I'm going to go back to the official repositories and give it a minute and see if it actually finds something faster than just the Linux Mint. Nope, Linux Mint is the fastest one it's going to find. So we're going to go ahead and click Update Cache again, and then we're going to close that out. Now I'm going to show you how to do the updates via command line. So you're going to open up Terminal. First type in sudo, put in your password. You will not see characters go across as you put in the password. That is normal, so you just have to make sure you type it in right. Once you're running as super user or as root, you will see the hashtag or pound sign rather than $sign. So at this point, type in apt-get, hit enter. This is going to give you a list of the commands and how to use them. So apt-get update, and I goofed that one. Man, did I goof that one all around. It's not even a dash. There we go. You're going to do that, and you're going to do that a lot. Now once you do that, you'll see that it updated all the package lists. So now we're going to do apt-get space upgrade. And this is going to install all the updates. Bear in mind, depending on the number of packages and the sheer size of the updates, this could take some time. SQLite. Bear in mind, I forewarned you, this can take a while. Not hard to tell with all the Ubuntu packages that Linux Mint is built off of Ubuntu. But do not mistake and think that it is Ubuntu, because it is not. Alright, and once it's finally done with the actual install of all the updates, then you can type in apt-get dist-upgrade. That is for the distro. This is specific to the Linux distro. If it comes up yes or no, hit yes like before. Now it's going to download all the updates and stuff that are specific to the distro itself. Once that's done, go ahead and restart the system. Now you'll notice that it's changed a little bit, and rather than just sitting there like, oh, select this, now it's sitting there waiting on you at your login. So you simply type in your password and sign in. Alright, and this isn't where it ends. So let's say you don't really care too much for that background. I know personally I don't. I really don't like looking at it. So if you right click on the screen anywhere, you can click change desktop background. And the one that I tend to like is either this one or this one here. This one's a little easier. We'll go ahead and show you this other one. There's that one. And here's the one I commonly use. You can download and change it to your own, whatever you want. Like you can go to the pictures. Here's the other really nice pictures that comes with it. Commonly I'll select the shore, the wideness, beach, or full moon. I really like the full moon. Well, waterfall's pretty nice. I want the ones that aren't too bright, because the bright stuff really kills my eyes. And then you can also do play backgrounds as a slideshow and set the pictures that you wanted to use. So you have some options there for your backgrounds. The other thing you need to do is click over here on the menu, come up here to System Settings, and you're going to want to go through and change some settings. One of the things you'll want to do, especially if you're using a laptop, is go to the mouse settings, mouse and touchpad. Make sure that the double tap on the touchpad is enabled. So see right there, tap to click. So if you tap on it, it clicks it automatically. And then if you're using a mouse, you have the options here for the mouse. I don't have a touchpad on this system, so it's just going to be based entirely off the mouse. And you can test your double click speed here. The other thing, it comes with a default installed firewall. But I'm going to tell you right now, that firewall is very basic and not all that great, and by default it is turned off. A turned off firewall does not help you. The other thing you want to make sure to do is to come to your driver manager. It's going to update the cache. And then if there's any proprietary drivers, you will want to make sure you install those drivers. Most of the time, the proprietary drivers that you'll see in that particular part are usually your video card in most cases and circumstances. Every once in a great while you'll see a audio card there. 90% of the time it's going to be a video card, and usually not much else. Sometimes you will see different things like this one for the particular chipset. If you install a driver, you really need to go ahead and restart the system immediately, and then we'll go back to that settings and finish going through other stuff. Alright, and again, once it comes back up, just log in. Now keep in mind, it's actually going to be running on the proprietary driver specific to this chipset. So things are actually going to run and function a little bit better than what they were. And now that you've gone back to the settings, again, that goes menu and then settings right over here on this sidebar. That sidebar is your favorites bar. Do not at all, for any reason whatsoever, think that that's a Unity bar from Ubuntu, because it's not. You come down here to users and groups. You can use this part to add users, and then if you have groups, you can add them to the various groups that you need them in. If you have a printer, you can add printers. Most of the time you're going to manually install the drivers. Now we're going to go to power management, and thankfully with a lot of it, it's no longer set to automatically suspend or anything else, and when the power button is pressed, it asks. I usually just tell it, if the power button is hit, shut down immediately. Networking, if you have different networks or a proxy, you can set everything up right here. Networking, if you go into this, you can select your proxy settings and things from there. Keyboard, you've already got the keyboard set up, so there's not a whole lot of need. If you have a graphics tablet, you can go through this to set up and configure it. If you have Bluetooth functionality, which one of my laptops do, you can go in and configure the Bluetooth. You can also set it up to where if you walk away with your phone, it automatically locks your station and will auto unlock it once you walk within a certain range of your laptop. Go to workspaces, you can set up your workspaces and add workspaces. I believe you automatically start out with 4, it may only be 2. Don't remember 100%. Let's go look at it and see. Allow cycling through workspaces. Okay, so yeah, you don't have a mass amount. You have one workspace, so you start out with only one. You can add more to it. Window tiling, so you have a lot of options and things that you can customize. Your startup applications, what starts up as soon as you log in. You can set a screensaver. I never do. I just set it up to shut the monitor off. Screensavers have pretty well become a thing of the past. If you use various languages, you can set up different languages here. You can go to extensions, accessibility for anyone that has different, I'm not going to call it disabilities, but minor impairments, things that make things a little bit more difficult. So you can increase the size if you have vision issues or something like that. Technically, they're not really disabilities. I consider a disability something that renders you where you are completely incapable of doing anything. That's a disability. And then of course you have your themes. You can change the theme. I commonly leave it on the darker one here, which has the bar and stuff down here. There's your backgrounds, effects, and fonts. Effects are pretty interesting. So there's the fade effect. You have the Windows effects and everything. You can install different effects, turn them on and off. So whenever you minimize the screen, instead of dropping the screen down like that did, it'll actually just burn the frame out with fire. So there's a lot of different things you can do and a lot of customizations. Really entertaining. Now the other thing is you're going to want to install some software, and I literally mean you're going to want to install some software. You can also come down here to preferences and go to each individual one specifically. You can even go change what your welcome screen looks like, the images used there, how the welcome screen lays out for where you log in. So there's a lot of customization. You have to be very careful with welcome screens and stuff though, especially if you do an upgrade from one version to the other. If you're using a welcome screen or a theme that is not supported in a newer update, guess what? You're going to be screwed and you're not going to be able to log in easily. You're going to have a nice long fight. So if you just do an upgrade from like 18 to 19 when 19 comes out, you could potentially have yourself a whole lot of trouble if you don't just use defaults. But if you're the person that, instead of doing the upgrade by the apt-get commands, and you just download and do a clean install every single time, you probably won't have a whole lot of trouble. So come up here, you see how it says software manager, install new applications. It's going to want your password again. You just as well as get used to that. These are all major functions that are going to require super user capability, and that's the reason it keeps asking for the password, is because it's preventing things from being able to just automatically be ran as root or super user to screw your system over. The fastest, surefire way to ensure that you get a virus in Linux is to run everything as root. So if you use gparted, which is a partition editor, you can install it from right here. There's Wine, which is the Windows emulator. There's FileZilla if you use FileZilla, Audacity if you use Audacity, Skype for Skype communications. There's Inkscape, Stellarium. Stellarium is a really good one. Inkscape is a vector-based drawing program. Stellarium is they call it a photorealistic sky generator. Basically, it is a galactic simulator, and it's really good with our solar system, but there are a lot of other things out beyond our galaxy that you can zoom in on and see. There's Blender for 3D graphics, for building your own 3D models and stuff and rendering them. Calibre for ebooks. There's Cheese for taking pictures and video from a webcam. Dropbox, Shutter, which is a really good screenshot software. Let's see. Steam. There's a Steam engine for playing Steam games in Ubuntu. So yes, it is locally supported. There's Spotify and VirtualBox. You have the Minecraft. It's an unofficial way to easily install Minecraft. It does work. It works very, very well. Minecraft plays quite well in Linux. Matter of fact, it probably plays better in Linux than it does in Windows. But that's the case for a lot of games because of the way Linux handles resources. So one of the things that you're going to want to install, I almost always come in, rather than going there, I'll come straight to the search and type in Chrome. And you'll see the first thing I get is the Chromium browser. So click install. This is Chromium is the Linux version of Google Chrome. Now, there's another thing you need to know. If you type in Chromium, you'll get this here, which is called Chromium BSU. That is actually a very entertaining little game, and I almost always install it too. Now, the other thing I installed to go along with Chrome is the Chromium Codex for different video and other things. It's already got the codex installed, so I'm going to cancel immediately. And I don't need to do that on this round. So now that I have Chrome and Chromium installed, you see that I have Firefox right here. I almost never use Firefox. It's always as a backup. So I'm going to remove it. Click on Menu. Go to Internet. I'm going to right click on Chrome. And then I'm going to say Add to Favorites. Right click on it again. Add to Panel. I'm going to right click on it one more time and say Add to Desktop. So no matter what, I have 3 different ways to get to the web browser that I'm going to use. Here in a minute, we're going to pull up that web browser and we're going to install a few things. And we're also going to download and install a few applications. But you saw what I did there. So now you can go to Games, and here's the Chromium. Anything in here you want to add to the desktop, you right click, Add to Desktop. If you add it to Favorites, it's going to go down, or Favorites, it'll go over here on this bar. If you click add to panel, it'll go down here. The other thing is, if you don't want Firefox in this panel here, you can actually come up here to the panel and you can modify your favorites. I often leave Firefox exactly where it's at because I don't want it removed. I will have to use it from time to time for different pages, so I commonly just leave it up there. And I will just set oh my god. Yes, sometimes it will fight with you like that. So I finally got it set the way I want it. Now I'll tell you right now, editing the favorites is not as easy. As you can see, if I try to right click on it, it won't right click. So you're going to have to edit that elsewhere. Let's see, accessories. I think that's it for right at this moment. So now we're going to go after a few things. The first thing that we're going to do is we really need a good firewall. Oh, whenever you first start up Chromium, it's going to say it's not. So hit set as default if you want it as your default browser. And just like with Google Chrome, you can sign into it with your Google account and it'll automatically pull up any of your folders and stuff like that, and it'll auto save passwords and everything just like Chrome does in Windows. Now we're going to look for a firewall, and we're looking for Peer Guardian. This is a really good firewall to use on Linux. I know there's haters out there that are going to disagree. I really don't give a shit. You can go screw yourself. This is a very, very good application to use, and I highly recommend that you download and install Peer Guardian. So we're going to download this. If I remember right, this comes with both the RPM and the .deb for either file or either base system type. And right there is the Peer Guardian. So the next thing that we're going to go after is, that's what it is, Grub Customizer. And we're going to run those commands. I'm going to show you how to do it in just a minute. So first things first, let's go to show in folder on this particular file. Going to right click on it, go to extract here, open up the PGL. Nope, this is not the right one, as this one's all the source. So we're going to have to download it again. You are going to run into that on Linux quite a bit, that you are going to download something and it's going to be the source. So this time we're just going to type in Peer Guardian for Linux Mint. There we go, that's the one I'm looking for. So now you're going to come down here and click on terminal, type in sudo, su. These commands I will supply in the descriptions. And now we're going to follow these commands to a T, and I mean to a T. So the easiest way to do that, and I will supply these pages as well, is to right click, come over here, right click again, click paste, move it over. The first thing you do, I accidentally grabbed the sudo, I don't need it, hit enter. This is going to add the repository. So now we're going to do apt-get update. It's going to add that repository to the list, and now we can do apt-get install pgl. The command has changed. I forgot the A. There we go. Now it's going to install it. So it's PGLD, PGLCMD, and PGL GUI is what you have to get for the install. Now you have the package configuration. Turn on auto start. This may block complete network access. Go to no for now. That's not going to stop it from installing. It's still going to install. Everything's going to work correctly. Now that we have that installed, we're going to go install Grub Customizer. So the first thing we're going to do is copy the line for the repository. And then we're going to apt-get update. And then apt-get install Grub Customizer. And now it's installed. Type in exit twice. That'll completely close you out. And then from there, you're going to go to menu and go back to the package again. This is to install the software, and this time we're going after antivirus software. So now you type in clam, and you're going to install the clam TK. Double click on it, click install. Go back to the search results. That should force it to install all the necessary requirements for clam to work properly, which means it should install the base and everything else. So at that point with clam TK, you should have the full clam setup. Either way, I normally go ahead and install clam base. The daemon. And then I go install the update utility. You can install the email virus filter for clam if you want to use it for emails, which is Clam Assassin. And say Clam Assassin is a simple virus filter wrapper for Clam AV for use in ProMail filters or ProcMail filters and similar applications. Clam Assassin interface is simple to that of Spam Assassin, making it easy to implement for those familiar with that tool. Clam Assassin is designed with an emphasis on security, robustness, and simplicity. Once all those are installed, you can close that. Now the thing that we're going to go do is find everything we just installed. So first things first, you have Clam TK, right click, add to desktop. The other thing is the Peer Guardian, which is right there. Right click it, add to desktop. And now we're going to fire up Peer Guardian. We're going to tell it to update. Down in the lower left hand corner it says that it's updating. Okay, so now we can reload. It says another process is still running. Restart Peer Guardian. And before I actually start anything else, I'm going to come to configure, just that way you can see this. I can set up Peer Guardian to start at boot and updates the block list every week, whatever. You have different block lists that it blocks. There's several that are already selected. You can set it up to block numerous amounts. If you set it up to block all of these, oh man, do you have a massive block list. This thing runs on block lists, so there's a lot of stuff that it automatically keeps out of your system that cannot go into it. And you can see right here, this is logging all kinds of information. Right there you have outbound traffic to PC World, to the Onion Router Network, to Media Math Incorporated, to Rocket Fuel Incorporated. So if you really want to lock this booger down, you just flat out select abso-freaking-lutely everything. And everything that's blacklisted through these guys is now going to be blacklisted to you. When you click apply, it's going to ask for your password. And then we're going to go ahead and tell it to restart. Once she starts, she should be in full operation and blocking a massive amount of stuff. I do mean a massive amount. So we'll go to options, settings. You can see right here, maximum log entries 512. You can change that to whatever size you need or fill that you need. Now if you come down here, you'll see that this is, it's not running. Did a reload on it. She's running now. Now everything's sitting there, full optimization, and your block lists are blocking traffic from various other locations. So now that that's set, and remember, that's just Peer Guardian. All that's running is the block lists. Peer Guardian is not really a full-blown Peer Guardian is really not a full-blown firewall. It's a privacy-oriented firewall application that blocks connections to and from hosts specified in its huge block list, thousands of millions of IP ranges. Its origin seed is in target aggressive IPs while you use. So, having that one set, now we can go back to start, come to preferences, go to firewall configuration, And now you can go ahead and turn this guy on. Outgoing is set to allow, incoming is set to deny. So now you have to put in the traffic that is allowed versus the traffic that is not. So anything attempting to come in that you didn't initiate a connection out to is not going to make it through the firewall. Does this mean it's going to block your connection to the internet? Not really. If it was going to block my connection to the internet, I wouldn't have been able to go there. It's going to stop things from being able to automatically try to connect into me. So what are we looking for next? Well, these are the last few things you need to install, and you're going to have to open up your web browser to install them. Here's the first one. You're going to install NoScript Lite for Chrome. Go to the Chrome Web Store, click Add to Chrome, add extension. Now you have NoScript Lite, and you can also add these to Firefox as well. Now that we have NoScript Lite, we're going to come over here and type in uBlock origin. And there's uBlock origin. Click Add to Chrome. Add extension. Add block plus HTTPS everywhere. That makes everything you type in automatically a encrypted connection on port 443 for SSL encryption. And then we have HTTP headers. And you can do the HTTP headers or HTTP live headers, which is the one I prefer to run. And what the HTTP headers do is, for any of those that are security conscious, this will be a good one. If you're not security conscious and you don't understand what this is, you may not want to put on HTTP headers. But let's go back to facebook.com, and you're going to see the HTTP GET request come up on this right hand side. There's the one for Facebook. And you can see that that is a post request. And you should have also seen the GET request, but it wasn't quite fully ready yet. So we're going to go to www.google.com. Go to the headers. Now we can go back to on regular Chrome. It'll pop up over here on the right on this one. There's every single request that just went to Facebook to get it. Look at all those gets. Get, post, get. That's everything it sent to make that connection. And here's the very first one. Facebook.com, and then get. That's where it's actually fetching. Post. That means it wrote something to Facebook. Now, if you really want to look at the request, you can click on each specific request, and here's your get string. See, it went over port 443, so it automatically connected through HTTPS and not HTTP. Ignore the fact that it says HTTP 1.1 right there. Even if you have HTTP secure, it's automatically going to say that. Here's your user agent. You can even see that it identifies that this is Ubuntu's Chromium. So it's automatically going to think I'm running Ubuntu on a 64-bit Linux distro. Lots of information in here. And then you have cache control, private, no cache, no store, must revalidate. So it's not going to cache information. Lots and lots of info within the HTTP headers that you can get, and that's one of the reasons I like running live HTTP headers. I can look at what's actually going on. And that right there completes the configuration and setup. Oh, crap, I completely forgot about the antivirus. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and go update the antivirus. You're configured to automatically receive updates. Blah. Settings. Deselect that. Back. Go to update. Make sure you select all of those so that way it scans into everything. You don't want it to not and scan into anything. You'll want to go to the update assistant and tell it you want to get updates to for yourself, apply changes, go grab the updates for the first time for yourself, because there are going to be signature updates and it's not going to update for a while. Okay, it's now got the updates. Go to My Computer Automatically Receives, click Apply, click Back. Here's where you go to whitelist things. You can whitelist specific files if you don't want it to scan it and possibly kill it. Here's your quarantine. There's your history. Scan a specific file, directory, analysis, or you can set up the scheduler to do the signatures and Alright, I have the time set. Remember, it is on a 24-hour clock, so that is going to be a key thing for you. And she should automatically update and do everything yourself after that point. So that's it. Everything is configured. You're now set up and ready to go. You have your firewall set up. You have a blacklist that is blocking all kinds of bad, nasty things. This information is out there for absolutely everybody. As always, watch, like, and share. Have yourselves a great day.